Okay, there's something you all need to know. It's that your negative mindset is the reason for your bad life, for your unfulfilled life. And I, as a former pessimist, want to give you tips to go out of the negative mindset that creates all the problems in your life and go over to an optimistic one. Stay tuned till the end, because after the video you'll honestly be able to change your life. And first, I want you to know that you're not the only one, okay? Most people have a negative mindset. Most people think about the worst case scenario. And me, indeed too. Even the most positive person sometimes will think about the worst thing that could happen. But there's some tricks they use in order to stay in a positive mindset and attract positive things into their life by applying them. And the first thing I want to tell you that pessimism is not something where you can say this is the reason only. Of course, it can also occur of your hormones, so please don't be too harsh on yourself. But most of the time, the reason for negativity is simply a negative mindset. It's thinking about the worst case scenario. It's thinking about the worst thing that could happen, even in a day-to-day life. But here's something I want to ask you. How often did those worst case scenario actually become true? And here you need to be really honest with yourself, because actually, this hasn't happened in your life. In the worst case, maybe just once. And how often in your life did something actually go pretty okay? I don't say it went perfectly, but pretty okay. Because life is usually not in two extremes. When you think about the worst case, your mind focuses on the worst case. And this is what you usually attract. So on a scale from best and worst that could happen in your life, the reality that comes to you is of course not the worst, hopefully, but it's more in those lower level. But here is the huge change. What if you implemented one thing in your mindset? And it is, what if it all worked out? And with this, you automatically think about the best case scenario. You focus on those higher level of possibilities. And guess what? What you focus on is what you attract. And at first, especially as a pessimist, it's hard to believe that you can trick yourself simply by thinking about the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. But guess what? If I did it and it worked out very well, you can too. It's just the reps that you take in that make it better then. And another really quick fix is whenever you have a bad thought, think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and simply switch to something more positive. Think about you going around in the shopping center. Think about you doing something that you really like. And with this, you just shift your focus. Because what you focus on is where you put your energy. And this is then what you get. That's why I want you to, on from now, implement the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. And whenever you find yourself being in the worst case scenario and ruminating about negative things that could happen, stop yourself, okay? The first step is to become conscious of yourself, okay? And then you count from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quickly shift it to something that you can imagine as a positive thing. And with this, you shift your focus from thinking about negative things to thinking about positive things. And on from now, don't think about the worst case scenario. If you want your life to be great, You shouldn't think about the worst case that could happen. If it's going to happen, you somehow will be able to figure it out. Instead, focus on the best scenario that could happen. What if it all works out?